My name's Alex, and to say my family has been complicated is an understatement. We've always had this unspoken tension that nobody really talks about, but everyone feels. If you've ever been part of a family where things seem normal on the surface, but you just know something's off, you'll understand. We're not poor, but we're not rich either. My parents did all right for themselves, and I guess I followed in their footsteps. Got a decent job, living paycheck to paycheck, but managing to save a little here and there. But my cousin Danny, he's a different story. We grew up together, but we've never really gotten along. He's always had this sense of entitlement, like the world owes him something. As kids, it wasn't as obvious. But as we got older, it started to show more and more. His behavior towards me, especially, has always been, well, let's just say less than friendly. The way he looks at me sometimes, it's like he can't stand that I'm doing okay. I remember a few years ago, he was venting to me about how he was struggling while driving around in a brand new car his parents bought him. When I brought up that I was doing just fine despite not having anything handed to me, he got defensive. Fast forward to today, and I'm sitting at a family dinner, trying to hold it together. This gathering, like most others, is an excuse for my relatives to pretend everything's fine. We meet at my aunt's house, a little suburban home with a white picket fence, but everything's tense inside. My aunt, uncle, and cousins are there, as usual. The air is thick with forced conversation and awkward smiles. My cousin Danny, of course, is in the middle of it all, talking loud enough that everyone can hear him, but never actually saying anything worth listening to. He's always the loudest person in the room, whether he's bragging about some new gadget he bought or telling the same joke for the 100th time. I just sit there, nodding, trying to get through the night. As usual, no one talks about the real stuff. No one brings up the fact that Danny thinks he's entitled to everything just because we're family. And yet, there I am, the black sheep, trying to avoid confrontation while everyone else pretends everything is fine. Then the conversation shifts. My aunt asks me how work is going. I don't mind it. Work's fine. I tell her it's steady, and she nods like it's the most interesting thing anyone could have said. I know she's trying to make small talk, but it's clear that no one really cares about the details. That's when Danny starts. He looks over at me with that smug grin of his, and I know immediately that something's coming. So, Alex, he says, tapping his fork against his plate, how's the job? Making good money now? You always seemed like the type who'd do well for yourself. He says it like he's genuinely curious, but I know better. He's sizing me up, trying to figure out how much money I'm making. I don't answer right away. I know he's fishing. Oh, you know, I reply casually, just the usual. Working, saving up a bit here and there. Nothing too crazy. I keep it vague, watching him closely. I can tell he's not satisfied with that. He leans in, his voice dropping just enough for only the people closest to him to hear. Yeah, well, you've got that nice little chunk of change now, huh? Must be nice, he says, smirking. I don't know if he thinks I won't notice, but I catch the edge in his voice. The unspoken challenge. I've been thinking about getting a new car, he continues, his eyes glinting. But, you know, with the way things are, I'm kind of short on cash. You know how it is, right? He lets that hang in the air, waiting for me to bite. I don't take the bait. Instead, I just take a slow sip of my drink, pretending not to notice his not-so-subtle jabs. It's like he thinks I'm too dumb to see what he's doing. He's fishing for a compliment, trying to make me feel guilty that I'm doing better than him. Oh yeah, I ask, keeping my voice light. Well, you'll figure it out, I'm sure. That's when he presses. I mean, come on, we're family, right? Danny leans in even more, dropping his voice to a near whisper, though it's loud enough for everyone at the table to hear. You know, family helps each other out. I was thinking, maybe you could spot me a bit of cash. Just enough to get that car. I know it's not a huge ask. After all, you've got it pretty good now. He pauses, looking at me like I'm supposed to be grateful for his request. My mind starts racing. This isn't the first time he's asked for money, and it probably won't be the last. But this time, it feels different. He's not just asking for help. He's trying to manipulate me into feeling like I owe him. I feel my pulse pick up a bit, but I stay calm. I don't know, man. I say, my voice steady. I'm not really in the position to be handing out cash right now. I can see the flicker of annoyance in his eyes, but he hides it quickly, flashing a forced grin. Come on, Alex. It's just family helping out family, right? His voice is smooth now, trying to sound casual, but I can see through it. Everyone at the table is watching, but no one's saying anything. I can feel the pressure building. I'm about to snap, but then I remember something. Something that's been eating at me for months. Something that's going to make his whole act crumble. Slowly, I reach into my pocket and pull out my phone. I tap a few times, scrolling through a conversation. The tension at the table is almost unbearable as Danny watches me, unsure of what I'm doing. I look up at him, a small smile forming on my face. "You want to talk about family helping each other out, huh?" I say, my voice calm but sharp. I swipe the screen and show him the message. Then explain this. The room goes dead silent. I can feel the eyes of everyone at the table burning into me, but I don't look away from Danny's face. I keep my finger on the screen of my phone, holding it just high enough for him to see. His smirk falters, and I watch his eyes shift from my face to the phone, his expression slowly changing from smug confidence to disbelief. For a brief moment, his lips twitch like he's trying to come up with something to say, but the words don't come. And that's when I drop the bomb. I pull up the screenshot. It's a text message from a few months ago, one I had almost forgotten about until recently. A message from one of my friends, someone who was clearly fed up with Danny's behavior. The message reads, "Danny's been talking trash about you again. Told everyone you're just a broke loser who's lucky to have a job." Beneath that, there's another message, a bit more cutting. He says you're not even worth asking for help. But hey, I guess he'll only talk to you when he needs something. I watch as Danny's face goes from pale to completely drained of color. I don't even need to say anything. The text says it all. My cousin stammers, trying to keep his cool, but it's clear that he's not sure what to do. He clears his throat, his voice shaky. "Hey Alex, that's not." He cuts himself off when he realizes there's nothing he can say that will make this go away. The room remains silent, except for the quiet hum of the air conditioning and the faint clink of silverware on plates. Everyone is looking between us, and I can see the uncertainty in their eyes. No one has said a word yet. My aunt, who's usually the peacemaker in the family, glances at Danny, then at me, her face tight with confusion. It's obvious she has no idea what's going on, and I can see her trying to piece together the situation in her head. Danny, still trying to save face, forces out a weak laugh. "Look, it's not what it looks like, okay? But he doesn't finish. His voice falters as he looks at the phone screen again, like he's finally starting to process how badly he's been caught. He shifts uncomfortably in his seat, his eyes flicking around the table. His expression is a mix of embarrassment and frustration, but I'm not letting him off the hook. "That's funny," I say, not bothering to hide the sarcasm in my voice. "I didn't realize family talked behind each other's backs like that. But hey, maybe I'm just overreacting, right?" I let the silence stretch for a few more seconds, watching Danny squirm under the weight of his own lies. I don't even have to look at anyone else. I know that they're all thinking the same thing. The worst part? My aunt is starting to piece it together. She looks between us and then at Danny, her face slowly changing from confusion to concern. "Danny, what is this?" she asks softly. "What's going on?" I don't answer for him. I just let the silence hang in the air, letting the truth settle. Danny opens his mouth again, trying to speak, but no words come out. He's running out of excuses, and everyone at the table is starting to see him for what he really is. The smug, entitled attitude he's carried for years is starting to crack, and for the first time, I'm not the one in the hot seat. But then, just as I think I've got the upper hand, my uncle speaks up. All right, let's just calm down. Everyone's a little on edge, okay," he says, trying to defuse the situation. But I can see it in his eyes. He doesn't really believe Danny, not anymore. There's something in the way he glances at me now, like he's trying to figure out whether this is a family problem or if it's deeper than that. Danny, sensing the shift, looks to my uncle for backup. "Dad, this is ridiculous," he mutters. "Alex is just trying to make me look bad in front of everyone. I was just asking for some help, like any family would. This is blown way out of proportion." He's scrambling now, trying to manipulate the situation, but it's too late. The cracks are starting to show. I stand up, placing my phone face down on the table. "I'm done with this conversation. I'm not making you look bad, Danny," I say coldly. "You're doing that all on your own." I turn to my aunt and uncle, my voice steady. "You want to know what kind of family helps each other out? A family that doesn't talk behind each other's backs, a family that doesn't manipulate each other when they're in need. That's the kind of family I thought we were." Danny's face is burning red now, and I'm sure he's regretting ever trying to pull this stunt. I can see it in his eyes, that moment when he realized I wasn't going to back down, when he realized this time he wasn't going to get away with it. He shifts uneasily in his chair, unable to look anyone in the eye. And just before the tension reaches its peak, I make my move. You want money so badly? I say, my voice cutting through the silence. Then explain this. I reach for my phone again, ready to show him exactly what I've been holding back. But I'm not showing him just another screenshot. This time, I'm pulling up something else, something that'll be the final nail in his coffin. I slide my phone across the table, face up, the screen glaring in the dim light of the dining room. The weight of the moment is palpable, and I can feel the tension growing thicker with every second. Everyone is holding their breath, waiting for the next move, even Danny, who looks like he's seen a ghost. I let the phone rest on the table, not saying a word. The text message on the screen is loud and clear. It's a message Danny had sent to one of his friends a week ago. Can you believe Alex actually thinks he's better than me? This guy gets a little bit of money and acts like he's some big shot. I wouldn't trust him with $1, let alone give him any help. I'll just keep playing the victim card. Family will always come through when you need it. The words hang in the air like a slap. Everyone stares at it, the silence suffocating. Even my uncle, who's usually the peacekeeper, sits back in his chair, eyes wide, not sure how to process this. My aunt's face is a mix of disbelief and shock, her hand trembling slightly as she reaches for her wine glass. Danny's face turns ghostly pale, his hand shaking as he reaches out to grab the phone, but I pull it away just in time. You want to keep pretending you're the victim, Danny? I ask, my voice steady, but there's a coldness to it now that cuts through the room. You want to keep playing the family card? Or should we talk about how you've been trash-talking me behind my back, calling me a loser to your friends while trying to suck up to everyone else when you need something? The blood drains from his face. His lips part, but no words come out. His entire posture is deflated, his usual arrogance gone, replaced by something I haven't seen in years, vulnerability. And I can tell by the way his eyes dart around the table that he knows he's lost this round. The room is dead silent now, save for the soft clinking of my aunt's glass as she sets it back down with a shaky hand. My uncle looks at Danny, then back at me, then back at Danny. There's no sign of the usual calm authority he has, just a weary look, like he's finally realized that his son has been the one causing the mess all along. Danny clears his throat, trying to recover some semblance of pride. This is all a misunderstanding, he says, his voice quieter than before. But even I can hear the desperation in it now, the cracks in his defense. No, Danny, I reply firmly, locking eyes with him. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is you trying to manipulate everyone around you. You've been playing the poor me act for so long, making everyone think you've got it hard, that you deserve help. But you've been using everyone, including me. Danny's mouth opens and closes, but the words don't come. His mind is spinning, searching for some way out of this mess, but there's nothing. His shoulders sag as the weight of his own actions finally hits him. The arrogance, the manipulation, the lying, it all catches up to him in this one moment. But I'm not done yet. I turn to my aunt and uncle, my tone softening just enough to show them that this is more than just about Danny's petty actions. I didn't want to have to do this in front of everyone, I say, my voice calm but firm, but you deserve to know what's been going on behind the scenes. Danny's been trying to manipulate everyone in this family for his own gain, and now he thinks he can pressure me into giving him money just because he's family. Danny's eyes widen, and I can see him panic. I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't trying to manipulate anyone. I stop. Danny, I interrupt, my voice louder now, no longer allowing him to weasel his way out. This is exactly what you do. You gaslight everyone around you into believing you're the one who's been wronged, and when that doesn't work, you use the family card to make us feel guilty. I let that sink in for a moment, letting the full weight of my words land. The silence stretches on, thick and heavy, until finally, my uncle speaks up, his voice tight with disappointment. This isn't the first time you've acted like this, is it? He asks, his eyes narrowing at Danny. Danny's jaw clenches, and he opens his mouth to protest, but my uncle holds up a hand, silencing him. You've been doing this for a while now, haven't you? Using people, playing the victim, and taking advantage of their generosity whenever it suits you. Danny doesn't respond. He can't. My uncle's words hang in the air, the final nail in the coffin of Danny's carefully constructed facade. I stand there for a moment, letting the gravity of the situation settle. It's finally over. Danny's no longer the golden child who can do no wrong. I can see the cracks in his armor, and they're only getting bigger. But before he can respond, my aunt looks at me, her eyes softening. Alex, I didn't know any of this. I'm so sorry. We should have noticed sooner. Her voice trembles, and it's clear she's struggling to reconcile the son she's known with the person standing in front of us now. Danny shoots her a desperate look, but she doesn't meet his gaze. She's seen enough. I can feel the eyes of everyone on me now, and for a moment, I wonder if I've gone too far. But then I realize, no, this needed to happen. It was long overdue. Danny's not going to get away with this, not anymore. And if that means making him face the consequences of his actions in front of everyone, then so be it. The silence lingers, but now, it's not uncomfortable. It's expectant. The tension in the room is palpable, and I know this moment is one Danny will never forget. But there's one more thing I need to say, one last thing that'll make sure he understands the full weight of his actions. Just remember, Danny, I say, my voice low, family doesn't help each other by taking advantage of one another. It's about respect, honesty, and not pretending to be someone you're not when you need something. I wait for him to respond, but there's nothing left to say. The ball is in his court now, and I've made sure everyone here knows exactly who he is. But then my aunt speaks up again, her voice softer now, more apologetic. We're going to need to talk about this later, Danny. All of us. The words are final, and I know that whatever happens next, nothing will be the same. But for now, I let the weight of the silence linger. Danny finally pushes his chair back, standing up abruptly. His face is flushed, eyes wide with a mix of frustration and humiliation. He glares at me one last time, but the fire he once had is gone. It's replaced by something more painful, realization. He knows he's lost, and there's nothing he can do to fix it now. Without saying another word, he storms out of the room, slamming the door behind him. The house seems to exhale a collective breath, as if the tension in the air has been lifted. My aunt and uncle sit there, stunned into silence, processing everything that just unfolded. Alex, my uncle begins, his voice still thick with disbelief. I had no idea. I should have been paying more attention. You didn't deserve any of this. I nod, my chest tightening just a little. I don't expect anyone to know everything, Uncle Mark. But it wasn't just about the money. It was the way he's been treating me, manipulating everyone around him, thinking he could get away with it just because we're family. It had to stop. My aunt sighs, her hands trembling as she wipes her eyes. I'm so sorry, Alex. I didn't see it before. I'll make sure we talk about this, really talk about it, when Danny calms down. This family can't keep going on like this. I nod again, my gaze lingering on the door where Danny had exited. In that moment, I realize this won't be the last time this conversation comes up. But for the first time in a long while, I feel a sense of relief. It was a brutal confrontation, but it was necessary. The dinner was over after that. No one really had much to say, and I could tell my aunt and uncle needed some time to process what had just happened. I left shortly after, saying my goodbyes and heading home with a mix of emotions swirling inside me. I was angry at Danny for everything he'd done, but I also felt a strange sense of closure. In the days that followed, I didn't hear from Danny. I knew it was probably best that way. He needed time to process the fallout from his own actions. But what really hit me was how the rest of the family started to treat me. It wasn't just my aunt and uncle who were grateful for what I did. It was my cousins, my other relatives. They reached out with messages of support, thanking me for standing up to him. It felt good to know I wasn't alone in this. That I had the support of the family who'd seen what Danny had been doing behind the scenes. As for Danny, he eventually reached out, but it wasn't to apologize. He wanted something. Of course, it wasn't money. Instead, he wanted to manipulate the situation again, trying to convince me I was the one who had gone too far. He said the family would never be the same after what I did. But honestly, I didn't care. I didn't need to fix everything for him. What I did wasn't about him. It was about finally standing up for myself and showing that I wouldn't let him walk all over me anymore. Things aren't perfect. I haven't heard from him much since that last attempt, and I'm fine with that. It's not easy dealing with someone like Danny, but I've made it clear that I won't be a doormat. I'm just relieved that, for the first time in a long while, there's a sense of peace in my family. And that's the way it stands now. My question to all of you, what would you have done in my situation? Did I go too far? Or was this something that needed to happen? Let me know your thoughts, because honestly, I'm still processing everything too.